Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Carter, the model investor. Today's video, I have a very special guest. It's the first time I've ever had anyone on my channel, so I'm super excited. Shortly I'm going to introduce you to a fellow model and real estate investor. Her name's Emily Wilson Litzinger. Our journeys are really similar, so I'm really excited to just chat with her for a while and talk about how she got started and just the similarities, the two of us, how we transitioned from modeling into real estate. So stay tuned. Hi, Emily. Welcome.
Hello.
Thank you so much for coming. You're my first guest ever on the Model Investor channel.
That's so exciting. Thank you for having me.
I think I pronounced your name correctly earlier, Emily Wilson Litzinger. Is that right?
That's it.
Awesome. So I guess we'll just start out just talking about how I mean, you're a model, you're a big deal. You're with the lady in New York. You're famous all over Asia thanks to your campaigns for lots of different beauty, Lux soap, ponds, right?
Yeah.
Awesome. Yep. My dream jobs. I'm like so jealous. And I just think it's amazing how, talk a little bit about your story of how you went from modeling into real estate, because our story is basically identical.
Yeah. I feel like it happens. If you're a model, this is kind of how it happens.
Right.
So, yeah. So I started modeling in 2003. I was fresh out of high school. I think I was like 17. So I started traveling all over the world and it was going really great. Found my market to be Asia. So I did lots of campaigns, beauty ads, worldwide, like Lux soap campaigns. It was really great. I loved it.
Yep.
I made a really nice chunk of money. And because I didn't know any better and I wasn't mentored, through nobody's fault other than my own, I need to take responsibility for that. When I came back to New York, I lived off of it, as you do. And
I've been there.
Yeah. And I blew through all of my money. So fast forward to me being 30 and I realized, oh my gosh, now I have no education, I have no money, and I have nothing else to do. And a lot of models, I think, go into real estate as real estate agents.
That's true. I've seen that a lot lately, actually. Yeah.
And it can work really well.
Yeah.
I thought I'd like to try something a little different.
Yeah.
So I started reading up and I decided I needed to get into the rental property business.
Yeah.
So I took a job. I didn't work as well in New York as I did in Asia. So I decided to hustle. I was working my day job as a model for Elite, like you said.
Yep.
And at night, I decided to work for a nightclub as a bottle waitress to save up extra money. So I worked there for about 1.5 years. And when I saved about $50,000, I decided to quit and I bought my first rental property.
So awesome.
Yeah. And I was terrified. And I didn't have any. So a lot of people I know, they're into like the website Bigger Pockets or they read books. I never read a book. I mean, that sounds funny coming from a model.
I was kind of like that. Yeah.
I never read a real estate book.
Yeah.
I didn't know anybody else that was doing it. I knew people, like my husband had a friend of the family or something that had done something like that. But for myself, it was just like a really big leap of faith. I'm originally from Baltimore. So my dad, he helped me like find a rental property and we just bought it. And to this day, I don't know how it happened.
It's kind of similar. Yeah. It's the same.
Yeah, we were trying to find like off-market deals. And it was just a mess. So that's kind of how it happened. I went from modeling, and I still model, but transitioned into real estate because I knew what was I going to do when modeling was over. And I just threw myself into real estate.
Yeah. See, that's the problem. So I chat a lot with a lot of new investors, right? And it's like the main thing that I see is that people kind of get paralyzed by taking that jump. And I get asked that a lot. Like, how did you just suddenly transition from one thing and into something you knew nothing about? And I'm like, it was kind of, I don't even really remember how it exactly happened. It was just like, I read some books. I knew I had to come up with something because
Yeah.
modeling was all I had and it was
Yeah.
getting less and less and less. And I just kind of, like you said, took a leap of faith and
Yeah.
did it. I wonder if that's something that models have in common just because we've never had like the security of
I
a
think so
job.
too. I actually think modeling has been really great for anybody, for any models that ever listen to this. I think modeling and real estate are so well paired
Yeah.
because as a model, you're used to being really independent. You
Yeah.
know, you're used to rejection, you're used to hustle, you're used to being alone. And there's just something about it. It takes a little bit of bravery to just say, like, okay, let's do it. You
Yeah.
know, I was 17 when I left home. I'd never been anywhere in the world and I got on a plane and went to Singapore. So
Yeah.
it's the same. It's
It's
like, you know
scary.
what? Just do it. And I
Just do
think
it. Figure it
for
out.
me, yeah, and then for me in real estate, it was just like desperation. What am I going to do?
Yeah.
And I think if you're desperate enough, you need to figure out something. And I wasn't willing to work a 9 to 5 job without any hope of it getting better.
Financial freedom later on. Yeah.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Why? So Baltimore, obviously you invest in Baltimore because you're from there.
Yeah, I'm from
Um,
there. Mm-hmm.
what? Why did you choose rental properties instead, say, over like flips? Or I know there's a few people that start off wholesaling. You just wanted the return right away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know wholesaling was a thing. Like I said, I didn't know anything. I just knew I don't know, to be honest, I don't even know where I got the idea now, but I didn't know what wholesaling was.
Yeah.
I didn't think a flip would be a good idea because I
Well, you
felt
have
like
to know
with that
contract.
long-term income, I
Yeah.
needed something that was going to keep providing me income.
Yeah.
And so I just felt like this is it. Like I said, my husband, he had a friend of the family, like a distant friend who had done rental properties. And so we had that like in the back of our mind, like
Right.
he's rich, we could be rich.
We
Like
can
he
do that.
doesn't seem
Yeah.
very smart,
Yeah.
you know, like there's no reason why, you know, and I always joke around, like after President Trump got elected, we're like, well, if that guy can do it, we can do it, you
Oh,
know? So
I don't even get me started. I know. We can do anything.
yeah, I'm like, I can do anything. So
As far as plans going forward, like so you have one, how many properties do you have now? I see that you do a little bit of your own construction work and stuff.
yeah.
That's
So
crazy.
yeah, so we did our first, so like I said, we bought our first property last year actually.
Yeah.
And this is kind of this just goes to show you how crazy it is. So we looked at a property we found on the MLS
Yeah.
and we saw the property, we put an offer in. They turned down our offer, we lost it. Okay, fine. So then there was a place across the street. That place was being sold by a wholesaler that we happened to run into on the street when he was showing that property. We ended up seeing it. My dad was looking at it. Like we were all just, and they decided to this, like I said, to this day, I don't know kind of what happened, but we ended up buying that property.
Right.
Later, so we bought that property and then started working on it. The deal was if I was going to use my $50,000 to buy this property, it actually ended up being $62,000 and it
Yeah.
needed a ton of work. But it was 62,000, and if I put the money down, my husband was going to do the rehab. And he had never done that before. So he walked in and he'll tell, I mean, you know, he tells the story. He's like, I walked in, I cried for a minute, and then I was like, okay, step one, they had left their furniture, they left everything. So
Oh,
it was
no.
like, we had to he did it all. He took all the furniture out, he ripped up the carpets, like, you know, the whole thing. So then we're a couple months into that rehab and the place across the street comes back up for sale. And we're like, wait a minute, I guess it fell through.
Right.
Turns out that realtor was trying to pull a fast one on us, never handed in our offer. So we went back to the people directly and said, hi, we put in an offer. We were wondering what happened. The lady's like, we didn't get it. So now
so
we
bad.
bought it. We bought it for $10,000 less than what our original offer was because why not?
Yeah.
And so we got two right away.
Amazing.
So that's how we got two
right across the street. So that's perfect.
And it was right across the street. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And
so
so they rented out, how's rent collection? How's everything been going with COVID?
To be honest, it's really great. So we finished the property. The one property I guess was done. The first one was done in October.
Okay.
They moved in right away. We had a renter right away. The second one was finished in December. They didn't move in till February. It took a little longer, I guess, because of the holiday.
And so, yeah, that's still not bad.
Yeah, I absolutely love our renters. We found two people that just recently immigrated to the States. One is a Costa Rican family. The other is a Mexican family.
Awesome.
Honestly, it's amazing. They're on time.
Love
They're
it.
family-oriented people. We've passed by to check on the property. It couldn't be cleaner. I'm really happy.
I
All
love
the
that.
horrible negative stories, I'm just really pleased. So I don't have anything bad to say about,
That's good. That's good.
COVID's been fine. I mean, they've been a little late here and there, but honestly, like for me, if you pay within the month,
Yeah,
no problem.
I'm fine too. You know, it's like I understand occasionally things pop up,
Yeah,
and as long as it gets closed out by the end of the month.
exactly.
But it's neat, right? It's like it's not just income for us, but there's so much satisfaction in providing and seeing like a family having a great, clean, safe house.
100%.
I love that part of it.
Yeah, and we're in a really nice part of Maryland. I mean, they're C-class neighborhoods, but it's still really nice, and they're row homes. We fix them up, we make them nice, like for example, I'll just give you an example. Like when we bought them, they didn't have AC units. They had just like window AC units. So we make sure we put in central AC,
Nice.
and like we make sure it's like a nice place for the kids to play out back. Like,
Right. Yeah.
and by school too. So I think that really helps also get the kind of tenants that we were looking for.
Yeah.
And with rent collection, we actually hired a property manager because we are out of state.
Right.
Which is just, yeah. So she's great. It's just, sorry?
How much does she charge you? Like percentage or a flat rate? Just out of interest. Like
She charges 7%.
7? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty similar. Right. Yeah.
So, and I think she's worth it and it's great. And she's actually the one that found our renters. So she's done a nice job.
Right.
So it's been
yeah. I mean, out of staters, we have to have that, right? I mean, there's no way. I almost feel like property managers don't make enough for what they do, especially some of the things that they have to deal with, like on some of my properties, like in Syracuse,
Yeah.
It's like, I'm like,
10%
is probably more like it, but
I think that's usually the going rate, but she charges 7 and I certainly wasn't going to argue.
Enjoy it. Yeah.
Yeah. And we've just been, I guess if you guys follow my Instagram, we've just been driving for dollars a lot, trying to find new deals. We're always driving around the neighborhoods. Now we've made contacts. I'm now on Bigger Pockets. So I'm always trying to make contacts, find new deals. And I think that's the name of the game. Like,
have you tried the direct mailers? I was just playing around with some new postcards I'm trying to send out.
So we're really looking into that, and we've done list source and we've done all the things. We have our letter, but we just haven't sent it out yet. It's like, I'm still kind of in awe, like that it even works, because I'm like, does this really work out?
I didn't yet, but I'm going to send another 1,000 postcards out and try that. It's a little cheaper, less labor. Like I had my husband stuffing like 500 envelopes and
Totally.
It was like a lot. It took a whole.
I know. I'm like, should I handwrite 8,000 of these? We've been. So when we drive for dollars, I always have a handwritten note and I put it on the door. And I actually found this really amazing duplex, and one was vacant, and the owner lived next door, and I know he's moving, and so we're like, this is it. This is perfect. I wrote a little note. It was like so cute. Like put it on the door, and he called me back and yelled at me. So.
Oh really? I mean, you win some, you lose some, but who knows? Maybe
it's just funny. Like
we'll find it, and then
it was just like my first like experience was like. It was a little negative, but that's okay. And that's again why being a model is so great in this situation, because I've been yelled at a lot in my career and it's totally fine.
I know, same. And at least, with real estate, you're actually yelled at for something that's kind of more important instead of just being yelled at for not changing clothes fast enough or
exactly.
or having a set on my head.
Exactly.
So, okay, that's exciting. I would like to do Drive for Dollars. It's just like, I'm so far away. I would have to go up, stay up there for a week and drive around. And then I get distracted because I want to go and look at all my properties and I want to meet with people that I kind of know up there. But
Yeah.
maybe one day if I'm able to invest like closer to where I live, that's something like I totally want to do. I've seen some
Yeah.
really cool like apps that you can just take a photo of the property and it pulls the data and everything of the owner.
Oh, I know that.
Plans going forward, I guess, just finding more deals, right? And just keep.
Yeah. So we actually found two pretty good deals when we were down there. One is from a wholesaler, and I'm a little nervous because he's like, well, the contract will be signed as soon as the courts open back up in Maryland because they've been closed for COVID. So in 11 days, the deal will be ready. We rode by the property. It looks perfect. It's like brand new rehab, and it's quite cheap. And so we're a little like,
it's almost too good. Yeah.
It's like too good to be true. But we're just like majorly keeping our fingers crossed.
Yeah.
I know, I'm like, whoa. So, and that's the other thing, that because I'm still a bit new, I get too emotional and I get too excited.
Oh,
so
I know.
I'm like living and dying with every lead. I'm like, oh.
I know. I've definitely cried a few times. You know, I've lost deals or like something's happened last minute and I've been really invested in it. I've spent a lot of time in it. But now I've got a lot better. And I guess because I work on it now full time, that I'm so distracted by so many things. I don't even mean distracted in a bad way, trying to still focus on stuff. But like, I got an offer in on something yesterday, but there were so many other things that I had to take care of that I forgot to tell my husband, oh, by the way, that I got an offer in on something else, when normally that would have been such a big deal. That would have been like, we would have gone out and celebrated.
Totally.
And
Yeah.
take dinner. But it's like, oh yeah, so today I did this, and I got an offer in on that place. But I mean,
that's how you know you're getting big time, because you're like, keep it moving on to the next.
I'm big time, but
yes. So, well, it's funny because how I found you was, again, I didn't know anybody in the industry. I didn't know Bigger Pockets. I didn't know, all these books or anything. And we have the same tax guy. And
Alan.
so, yeah, Alan. Yay, Alan. Shout out to Alan.
Hi, Alan. Shout out.
Hi, Alan.
Alan's good.
And I was talking to Esty, his assistant, who just had a baby. Shout out to Esty also. Hey, girl.
Hi,
yeah, and I saw she posted a photo and you commented something like, I'm gonna get it together this year because I'm using like QuickBooks or something, something
like, by the way, horrible. Hate QuickBooks. Never.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, but yeah.
But I saw that you posted that and I was like, wait, what is she talking about? This seems like she's on to something bigger than modeling. Like, I need to be on something bigger. And I noticed your handle said TheModel.investor. So then I went to your page and then I passed out because I saw you had 26 doors. And I was like, I'm like, wait a minute, which makes me realize I'm probably doing it. I'm a little slow. I need to, and you're like blowing through like, like 10.
I mean, the thing was, and I told someone that recently on a podcast or something, but it's like, my first couple of years were slow. I bought a couple of deals. 2016, I bought one deal. 2017, I picked up two. 2018, I had a really slow modeling year. My dad passed away. It was just like a really rough year. And so I didn't have the capital to invest or the drive and the momentum to really focus. Mm-hmm. So 2019 came around and I really got my together. And then from that point, I just started to work harder and harder, and then, eased off modeling a little bit because it started to get a little tricky time-wise. And then since, 2020, since I've been able to invest 24 hours a day into it, I've really seen the momentum. It's just time. You just need the time to be able to do it. But it all happens,
Yeah, but it's been really motivating. So, and it was just so great when I reached out and I'm like, hi. Excuse me.
Right.
Be like, and I remember I told my husband, I'm like, this lady, she's got 26, whatever. And I was so impressed. And now I'm like, we got to pick up the pace. This is serious.
You've barely been doing it, I've been doing it nearly 4 years now. So, and you can see how quickly it snowballs. In the beginning, I was like, I'm going to have to be investing for 10 years before I can even live off the cash flow,
Yeah.
But it slowly, it snowballs. And then, I wasn't big on social media. I hated being on Instagram as a model.
Same. Same,
I
same,
was
same.
just I wasn't doing enough exciting jobs. And I just felt like it was redundant. And I was just kind of embarrassed by like, here's me in the street with a coffee, like not changing the world today or
I
inspiring
know, it's like
anyone.
womp womp. That's how I feel.
But then interestingly, my broker was like, if you want to really put it out there and start to help people and like inspire people or whatever, just start talking about what you're doing, because you're
Mm-hmm.
so silent with your deals and you just silently like have this whole other life. Like start talking about it. Maybe you can help someone else, because
Definitely.
like you didn't have anyone else. I didn't have anyone else. It's like, I
Mm-hmm.
was just like, I'm going to be a real estate investor, I guess, and just trying to, figure it
I
out.
guess that's exactly how it is. I guess I'm gonna do this thing.
Yeah. Interestingly, there's a cool site called The Pivot, and it's for models. It was founded by another model, and she helps models transition into other jobs after
Oh
their
wow.
careers or like during their careers. It's called The Pivot New York, and it's actually kind of cool. I wish it was around like when.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was saying in the beginning is like, I know so many models that are just paralyzed with fear because they don't know what else to do. And I feel like so many just go into real estate because it seems like something you can do quickly.
Yeah.
It's not, being an agent, it just seems like something you can do quickly, but it's like,
Still a lot of work, but also
oh,
I think just the insecurities. It's like so many models have insecurities, and like myself, I didn't go to college, so I didn't go to university. I left school when I was 17. So that's always like this thing you carry around, like, can I actually like be in business and do something like people that have been to university, or like, am I good enough to do this? Do I know enough? It's like, that's that whole model insecurity thing. But like, you just
really?
got to get over that and just get out there and do it. And,
Yeah, 100%.
a small amount of money can go a really long way, which is cool. And and it's awesome that you were able to pay cash, for your first place. I
Yeah.
got a mortgage. I love mortgages. Mortgages are my thing.
Well,
Um,
see, I felt like I couldn't get one because I own my own business, and as soon as you own your own business, it's like they're not interested in loaning anything to you. My
yeah.
second deal, I got a mortgage, and now this third one, we're going to get a private investor. But I think we're going to start borrowing because now I just learned what that is this week. So I'm like, oh, this was
Yeah. I mean,
this.
that's the way to do it, and just recycle, just repeat, put it in and pull it out. It's genius,
Yeah.
right?
So this is all you do now? You just do real estate?
I just do this now.
Amazing.
Actually, I seem to have this addiction where I always have 2 or 3 deals happening at the same time. And sometimes I fantasize that I'm just going to have no deals and there's going to be quiet and peace, but then it never happens. Another deal comes up and I'm like, this is a great deal, I have to get it. And then there's another one under contract. It's like, my husband's like, when are you just going to slow down? Probably not for a while.
Never. Like, it's so
Yeah.
good. And that's the thing. Like, if I could just get the deal funnel up and going, because people always ask me, oh, well, how many properties do you need? My dad's like, well, how many do you need? And I'm like, as many as it takes, you know.
That the key is to, they say, get systems right on the first one so that you can scale.
Mhm.
So if you can get it right on number 1 and 2, you can get to 100. And if the system works,
Exactly.
it's easy, and it gets easier. Your team gets stronger. You get, I can easily, I know, and the numbers, the areas you used to that. I know how much my insurance is going to be, management. I can do a quick deal analysis in like a couple of minutes.
Exactly.
Um,
Yeah.
if I go out into a different market, it's going to be interesting. I feel like I'm starting over again, and that'll have to happen
Yeah.
some time. But
Mhm.
for now, it works out.
Yeah. Do you have someone in your market that's looking for deals for you, or how do you do yours? I'm so curious.
My broker Frank, who I work with and I have worked with from the very beginning, he gets a lot of off-market deals, which is great. I mean, I still find a fair bit of stuff on the MLS. The stuff that I kind of target is in, C-class neighborhoods. It needs repair. A lot of people aren't looking for that. I feel like I've kind of got my own little niche there, especially in Syracuse. There's a lot of out-of-state investors, and they're looking for stuff that's just turnkey and like hands-off.
Mhm.
But I've got my contractor up there. We can put a new roof on. We can fix stuff. quickly and
And
easily.
so have you ever been to Syracuse? How did you pick it? And how did you get all your how did you get your people in place?
I've been probably a total of four times in like 4 years.
Yeah.
I feel like I know the place really well, though I go up for a couple of days at a time. But it was, how I got onto it was just kind of random. I think I Google searched high cash flowing areas like near me, or like markets in New York or like accessible markets to New York City.
Yeah.
And there was a list, Rochester, Ithaca, Utica popped up. And I was like, okay, I'm going to call a few people. And I just kind of went to Zillow. I mean, it sounds so easy and like pathetic, right? But I just went to Zillow and I'm like, who's selling the most stuff and who has the best reviews?
Yeah.
And I found Frank and reached out to him. And I'm like, I have this amount of money. I really want some cash flowing properties, because I'd purchased something in Texas that was not cash flowing. Because I didn't know any better. And so I was like, and he sent me some stuff and it kind of just went from there, really. I mean, and then slowly it's just a matter of process. It's like I've gone through, I have several different banks that I work with now. I've got several different insurance companies. I kind of pick my favorites and like build those relationships. But that kind of took time. Went through a few contractors before I found like my favorite guy, and we get each other. It's just like trial and error too.
Totally. It's funny because I can hear us talking about this and I can hear your story and it sounds easy. It sounds like, oh, I just did this and it worked out. And I would just want to stress, it's so not easy.
It's not. I know.
Not easy.
Yeah.
It's so hard. And it's hard because there's not step 1, step 2, step 3. It's all trial and error. It's all trial and error. It's all just like winging it, flying by the seat of your pants.
It all comes at once. It's like all of a sudden you've got to get somebody under contract. You're figuring out, oh, you have to put this much down. Oh, but the bank wants this, and do you want this bank? And then insurance, but what kind of insurance? A cash value, or is it replacement? Like it's nuts, right?
It is nuts. And then, you can't get a contractor if you don't have a house. So it's like, so you get a house, a contractor, it's like, you're just like scrambling the whole time.
Yeah.
And I'm always telling people like, you can do it too. You can 100% do it. Don't take my market, but no, I'm kidding. You can do it. It's not easy. And don't let your excuses get in the way.
That's true. Yeah.
Don't just lay in your excuses of like, well, today was a hard day and,
what if COVID, or what if this?
Exactly.
And I do understand a lot of fear around COVID. And I think and I get that. But other than that, generally speaking, yes, there are no guarantees with real estate. Anything could happen. But I feel like as long as you run your numbers correctly and you just give yourself a cushion, but then at the end of the day, you just have to take that step and give it a shot, And I've had a lemon. I had a property that it was a really nice property. We just couldn't get a good tenant in. And then the last tenant just completely trashed the place. And I felt so like sad because it was my cute little place. And and I ended up having to spend like 10 grand, and we like rehabbed the whole thing, replaced the bathroom. I mean, it was a mess, and sold it. So there's always options. It's like I ended up making money on it, and you just kind of figure it out as you go. Yeah. Like you kind of have a roadmap of where you want to get to, but it changes. My roadmap, my roads are like this, and there's ups and downs, but it's all, I love doing it. And even the hard stuff or like the disappointing stuff, you learn from, right? And you just keep going, and it makes you better.
Yeah.
And
totally.
I remember being excited for my first eviction because I was like, someone had told me, if you haven't evicted anyone, you're not a real landlord yet. And I'm like, I'm going to knock this one out, get it done. Not so fun, like, this is, it turns out, but it's all learning, and it's like, yeah,
sure, yeah, totally. You're so inspiring. I'm just trying to get some deals and hang on and
it's awesome. I just want to say I'm really proud of you for taking that step and using that bit of money and doing that, because I know how hard it is when you've lost everything, you've earned, and then you've got this nest egg that you've saved, and it's really hard to put that into something because it's a huge leap of faith.
Especially something that's so ugly.
Yeah.
You know, it's like it's not like you bought this beautiful house. You
Yeah.
have this ugly little house.
Like a little duckling.
Yeah, this ugly little duckling.
Yeah.
But
But
amazing.
I guess we should wrap it up. We've been talking for ages,
Yeah.
but it's awesome. And I'm so grateful to be connected with like another model investor. And it's so, you inspire me because I feel like I'm not just the only one out there and feeling a little crazy that I'm doing this. You know, you did the exact same thing. So
Yep.
if anything, we're just both crazy, and I'm fine with that.
But that's totally fine. Yeah, we always joke that we're gonna have one of those like serial killer papers stuck to our wall with like red lines going everywhere, and
Totally. Yeah.
mapping out all the different deals and
Oh
like
yeah. You should see my whiteboards. I'm whiteboard obsessed at the moment. I just picked up another one the other day, and it's like if you saw the three of them together, it looks like some kind of psychopathic, multicolored.
but that's what it takes. I mean, that's what it takes.
Yeah.
And that's what it's not easy, but it's worth it.
It's worth it. Yeah.
These not slumlords.
The landladies. Yeah.
Well, this was super nice. Thanks for inviting me on. It was lovely.
Thanks for coming on, and I'm sure everyone's learned a lot today. And thanks for inspiring other young, beautiful ladies out there to get into real estate. And I'm going to tag your Instagram on here so people can follow you and check out what you're doing. And
I'm painting. I'm driving for dollars. That's what you're
yeah, with your mask on. I saw that one. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. That's right.
Awesome,
All right.
Emily. All right. I'll talk to you soon.
Bye. Thanks.
Bye.